Hello, I am an American citizen and also a future world citizen. I'm here to discuss rescuing the world from war, violence, global terrorism, and totalitarianism by using the Millennium Peace Plan, which will form all of the nations into a global democracy. First, I am dressed as Superman, and we have the question here. Could Superman rescue the world from war and violence of the fanatics behind global terrorism and totalitarianism? Well, while Superman can fly through the air and bullets will bounce off of him, can he change the minds of fanatics? The answer, of course, is no. Superman cannot change the minds of religious and political fanatics in their quest for world domination. The flames of fanaticism burn steady and high in today's world. Next, we'll look at a supernation. The Super United States is leading the free nations of the world to rescue the world by using military force and diplomacy, as it did in the past. But this is not succeeding in today's terrorist world. Military action only fans the flames of fanaticism. Finally, we'll look at the super plan. The Millennium Peace Plan is the super plan that would use democracy to rescue the world, not military force and diplomacy, and not super force. By requiring every nation in the world to become an ideal democracy with separation of church and state, war and violence, global terrorism, and all forms of totalitarianism will be legislated out of existence forever. Religious and political fanatics could never achieve their goal of world domination. Instead, democracy will allow the people of the world to control their own destiny, guiding their own nation through a free and peaceful world. The flames of fanaticism would be extinguished by democracy. Now let's look at the fight for freedom in modern times. We're going to begin modern times in the years after 1776, when America formed the first modern democracy, and it has prospered. America has defended its democracy ever since, and has become the world's most powerful nation. A number of other nations became democracies in the 1800s and beyond, until the majority of nations in the world are some form of democracy. In the 1900s, we had aggressive totalitarian nations causing 2 world wars and a number of other conflicts. Now, Germany is a prime example because they began World War I and World War II. We knew who the enemy was in those days. Now, the League of Nations was formed after World War I and the United Nations after World War II. But neither one was given any power to stop war or violence. Now, the free nations used military force to defeat the attacking totalitarian nations, and diplomacy to try and prevent future wars. This worked to keep the totalitarian nations in check. So this was fairly effective in the 1900s. In the 2000s, the world entered a whole new ballgame. 9/11/2001 brought America and the rest of the world into the religious war of radical Islam. Islamic extremists are using global terrorism to place the world under Islamic law, and they vow to continue their holy war or jihad forever if necessary. And new Islamists continue to join the jihad. An example is the Times Square bomber, who, although he failed, did join radical Islam. Now, the conventional military force that was used in the 1900s is failing to defeat the elusive and unconventional global terrorism. Terrorists have no home base, and they are spread around the world. So unlike Germany in World War I and World War II, where we knew who the enemy was, in the 2000s, we don't know where the enemy is. Also, religious and political totalitarian nations continue to dominate and control their citizens, and they threaten peace. Iran and North Korea threaten to develop nuclear weapons. Diplomacy is failing. Since military force and diplomacy cannot do away with global terrorism and totalitarianism, an alternative plan is needed to remove these threats to humanity and our civilization. The Millennium Peace Plan is that alternative. Radical Islam and totalitarianism, with their violence, have only demonstrated how totally unsuitable religion and dictatorship are to govern any nation.